everyone and welcome back. Please excuse my red face. From what I can see in my viewfinder, my face is quite red, but that is also because I just did my skincare routine for the morning. So please just excuse that. We are going to be doing a first impression, which, you know, I haven't really done one in a long time. I did film a full face of like first impression stuff a couple of months ago, but it just was not a video I could edit properly. It was all over the place because Shadow was running around like an absolute idiot. You know, you get the gist of it. So I scrapped that. That was me trying the Maybelline Superstay foundation and that Makeup Revolution highlighter that I love, and just there was other ones. But I 100% kept the L'Oreal Total Cover stuff because I wanted to dedicate my own video to this. I do have the L'Oreal 24-hour matte foundation that they released a few years ago. The shade that I have does not match me very well. However, I'm pretty much just using it in videos to use it up because that cost me like $20-something and it's like nearly $40 full price. But I noticed a couple of months ago, over a year ago now, that they either got rid of the Total Matte 24-hour matte foundation and they brought out the Infallible foundation one in the matte version, so I thought I would try this. This one is in the shade Vanilla Rose or Vanilla Rosé, whatever, and it looks like it will actually match me pretty well, so that's a good thing. I have recently made the decision to go cruelty-free, so unfortunately I won't be purchasing this again unless L'Oreal goes cruelty-free, but I do currently already own this, as you can see, so the products that I already have I will not be getting rid of. It's just as I use things up I will be repurchasing brands that are cruelty-free. Okay, so I have the concealer as well. I bought it in the shade Ivory 322. I love the packaging with the coloured geometric shape on the lid. That's really nice. But of course we're going to start with the foundation first. This foundation is in the shade 110 Rose Vanilla, sorry. It is 35 mils, which is actually a little bit more. Normally your standard foundation's 30 mils, so you do get a little bit more in this, which is pretty good, especially if it's one that you will be repurchasing and using constantly. I find that's really good. So it says, combining all day hold with absolute comfort with no touch-ups required, Infallible 24-hour matte cover. It's super lightweight with a natural matte finish and full coverage, which is pretty much exactly what I like. Infused with ultra blurring serum and highly mattifying powders for a flawless 24-hour wear. It is truly infallible. It says use your choice of Infallible primer to prep the skin. I personally don't use primers, so in first impressions, if you haven't seen one I've done in the past, I don't use primers in my first impressions because I don't use them on a daily basis. I have some, but I don't really use them every day. They are more for slightly more just specific things. I'm on the L'Oreal Paris Australia website. From what I can see, this comes in 15 shades, but I believe in a Priceline it had more than that. I can't exactly remember, but it shows online that it comes in 15 shades, which it has a decent-ish range, but considering other foundations are being released in 40 and 50 shades, you know, 40, 50, even 30 is still better than 15, so you probably could find a shade to match you. I'm probably going to be pretty lucky to get this one, like, I am going to be lucky to get this one to match me, but seeing as they have ones that you know, they don't have a huge range, you may have to mix one or two. The lightest one's 25 Rose Ivory, and then it goes to Rose Porcelain 90, and then 110 Rose Vanilla. So I have the third lightest shade. Basically, it's just supposed to be natural finish, long wear, high coverage foundation, which is something that is right up my alley. And then just moving on to the description of the concealer, this is like the contour concealers, you know, like what e.l.f. has done and Colourpop did, all of that. I just use mine as normal concealers because I don't bother. I will use a concealer to highlight under my eyes and then whatever's left over to do the rest of like the center of my face, but I don't use them really to contour. So it says, whatever your concern, blemishes, dark circles, uneven skin tone, we've got you covered with our Infallible More Than Concealer. With a jumbo applicator for easy application, use all over your face or in targeted areas. So it's called the More Than Concealer. Basically, from what I gather, this is supposed to be L'Oreal's version of the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Concealer, which you guys know I absolutely love, but I used it that much. I just want to start and use up some of the things that I don't really use as much. I got in the shade Ivory. This is 11 mils. To be honest, I don't know what your standard size of concealer is. I've got some that are 15, I've got some that are 10, I've got one that's 6. So concealer really varies, so to me there's no actual standard. But I really like the packaging of this. It's got the colour stuff on the lid, and it looks really nice. So the foundation is $25.50 at Chemist Warehouse. Chemist Warehouse tends to have slightly cheaper prices. It said $4.99 cheaper than regular retail price. So if you're going to buy it constantly and you can't actually find it on sale, then 100% go get it there. But Priceline Pharmacy at the moment has it for $17.95 because they have the 40% off some selected cosmetics. It's not their complete 40% off sale, but they do have it currently for $17.95. And I always bought it on sale because I do not pay full price for anything when it's affordable. It's just a normal squeezy tube, which is good because I can just get out as much as I want. Don't need to worry about a glass bottle. It is fairly weighty, but I think that's also just because it's full, like I've never used it before. So I think this would be good for travel because it's just, you know, you don't have to worry about a glass bottle or a pump. You can just squeeze out as much as you want, use it, and you'll be on your way. So travel friendly, I think. It seems to be a decent like thickness packaging as well, so I don't think it's going to just explode if something like leans on it or something. I like how the fact that they do have the stripe here. If you are someone that self tans or you change really deep in the summer or something, I like how they got the stripe there so you can genuinely see it. Also, when it starts to get empty, you can see it getting empty. I think that's really nice, and I also like how it's matte. The other one is matte as well, but this one, like, this is the same packaging as the other one, but this one just seems to be nicer. I'm going to do half my face with a sponge. I'm going to use my Morphe sponge on one side and my Sigma F80. Is this the F80? Yeah, on the other side of my face. I have used this, but I have like just wiped it over on a washcloth, like a clean one, just to like get some of the makeup off the bristles, and it feels like it's just back to normal again. So I have the Sigma F80, I'll do it on this side, and my sponge on this side, and away we go. I'm going to start off with this little bit for the moment because that's what came out. It seems to be a little bit thicker than the other matte foundation. That one I will say is quite runny, but in a good way. Like it dries down nicely. It's thin, but like it gives you really decent coverage. I have to say I do like the other one, but of course this one coming in better, more shades is obviously going to be a bit more of a hit. So I'm going to do the sponge on this half of my face and the brush on this half. Okay, so after one thin layer on the face, I can say that it blended in quickly, easily and efficiently with both a brush and a sponge. It actually probably blended in a little bit quicker with my brush, which is actually surprising. As much as I was so excited to buy the Sigma F80, I am not absolutely blown away by it. It's growing on me. And obviously I have to pick and choose which foundations are better to use with brushes, but it still hasn't absolutely blown me away. But to be completely honest, both sides look exactly the same. Maybe the side from the sponge has a tad more of a glow to it. But that actually, I'm not even joking, was very surprising that it blended in exactly the same, because as much as there's foundations that I will blend in with a brush, it never looks exactly the same as what the sponge does. Sorry, I've just found there's a spider on my window. But I'm not joking when I say both sides pretty much look exactly the same. I would not say this is full coverage, and I put like a decent amount on. It's hard to say how much I actually used because unfortunately this doesn't have a pump. So that's one of the reasons why I think a pump is really good, is because then it you can get like take a guess of how much you use, like, oh, 1.5 pumps does my whole face or something like that. But I have to say I really didn't use that much. Like, I am someone that will pile on the foundation, but I'm actually really impressed. It looks nice and smooth. The color is really good. It's the slightest bit too dark, but I think it's actually just like oxidizing, which is fine by me because I like my foundations to be ever so slightly too dark because then it stops me from looking really ghostly. It hasn't clung really weirdly or horribly into my eyebrows, which is such a, like, that's like so good, because normally my foundations just cling to my eyebrows. And it hasn't. It looks nice and smooth. It looks even. I mean, it hasn't gone and just clung all over my lips. It looks nice over my nose. It blended nicely over my nose. I'm very impressed right now. My sponge cleaner that I use is the Mecca Maxima one, and it kind of smells like orange oil and stuff. So I don't know if I'm smelling, like, I can see on the back of my hand that it's oxidized a bit now. So just keep that in mind. I'm going to use my sponge because I will say it did cling to the bristles of my brush quite a bit. Which that's why I don't typically use brushes, because it just clings to the bristles. But I just wanted to test it. So after a second layer, which I did use a little bit of a thicker layer, I did get, and I will say, full coverage. It has completely just covered everything on my forehead except for that one little lump there, but that's never covered, so that doesn't bother me at all. It's covered all my scars, all my redness, and it's like my face is all evened out. I don't really worry about too much here because I blend my concealer out there, so that doesn't really bother me too much. But it looks nice over my nose, looks nice in between my eyebrows, looks nice over my eyebrows. I mean, it's looking so nice right now. I will zoom you guys in a minute. Move on to the concealer. So I've just taken it out the packaging. It's all plastic, which is fine by me. I don't really care. It's got the sticker over the damn thing. Hang on, I should be able to break that. I can, yay. So this is the Infallible More Than Concealer. I like how they've put the shade on the top, so if you're someone that has like those IKEA drawers and you stick everything up this way, you can see what the colour is, because then, you know, if you're someone that self-tans, obviously, like I do self-tan sometimes, and obviously I will sometimes go really, really deep, like for me, and obviously this colour won't match me really well, so I will then need to get a darker shade. So that's good. I also like how you can actually see the colour through the tube. And let's see what the giant doe foot looks like. Very similar to the Makeup Revolution one. I don't know how much I need, so I'm just going to be using about that much each eye, and I'll just blend it in. Pretty decent coverage with that. I am going to try and just put a tiny bit more on just to see, because I will say this is giving me really good coverage, but I'm not getting anywhere near as much as what I do with the Makeup Revolution one. So I'm just seeing if I can layer it just a tad. Okay, so that, it layered, but not as well as I thought it would. So probably a 1-layer concealer, and if I want extreme full coverage with it, I will probably have to use my color corrector underneath. However, just for an everyday look like this, if I just want to get everything covered up, it actually looks really good. I like the colour. It's brightening without being just stark white. I also mix a white powder in with my under eye powder, so if I wanted it to be lighter, I obviously just mix a bit more of that in. I do think it did darken just a tad, but it's fine because it's still light enough. As long as it doesn't end up darker than my foundation, I'm okay, because again, I mix that white powder in. Obviously, in a situation when I'm just doing my makeup, I won't be leaving as much time in between doing my foundation and my concealer, so that's not much of a problem at all. I am going to just put my powders on, and then I'll be right back to show you how it looks with the powder. Hey, I'm back. I do look very ghostly right now and it looks a bit funny, but please keep in mind I also don't have the rest of my makeup on. So I set it, I used my Maycheer powder with like the white one with the Australis banana powder under my eyes like I always do, and then I put it over my nose because that kind of just evens it all out, and then the rest of my face I used my Australis Fresh and Flawless. It lightened the foundation ever so slightly, so it looks like it matches me a little bit more now. Once I've got my bronzer and everything else on, I think it should be fine. The colour should be pretty much really nice. I think I'm a tad more yellow, but other than that, the shade looks totally fine. You probably might not even be able to see a difference on camera at all. Usually you can't unless I put like a really dark foundation on. So it's set really nicely. It seemed like the foundation did set on its own if you are someone that doesn't like to set your foundation, but I am so oily and stuff just does not want to blend on my face, so I use powder 100% of the time, every time. But I will say I didn't need to use as much to get it to set. So if you're someone that has slightly more normal skin and you just don't set your foundation, it does dry down, so I think that would be very nice. Again, hasn't clung into my eyebrows, which is a miracle. It still looks nice and smooth. It didn't just cling the powder into it because it's set down. It doesn't look like it's dry and powdery and heavy. It doesn't feel like, yes, I just set it, so yes, I can feel that I do have a tad bit of makeup on, but it doesn't feel heavy in any way. Obviously, I will let you guys know throughout the day if it starts to feel heavier or anything. But yeah, it looks so nice. I'm not joking. I can't say it's like my absolute 100% favorite, but it does look so nice. It just looks nice and smooth over my nose. It's not emphasizing my pores. It has covered everything up. The concealer has creased under my eyes, but everything creases. I can't stop that. And it does look a little bit dry, but I do have to use so much powder under my eyes, especially in this area because I do wear glasses. You guys don't really see me wear my glasses that often because the light reflects off the lenses and you guys can't see my eyes, and I hate that. Absolutely hate you not like being able to see my eyes, and it weirds me out when I'm editing, so that's why I don't wear my glasses really when I am filming, because I sit right in front of the window. It just reflects way too much off my glasses, so I can't. But it looks nice and beautiful across my forehead. It basically looks like my natural skin, but I've just put some powder on it to mattify it. So it's covered everything up. I mean, my scars down here are all hidden. I didn't have to put any extra concealer on. I did dab a little, not actually some from the tube, but whatever was left on my sponge, I did dab a little bit just in the center of my chin and a little bit just here. Not that you'll be able to really tell here, just to try and even my face out a little bit, just because I know I do like my under eyes quite bright. But some of my scars over this side have like raised up and flared up a little bit, and it's not clinging to them. My scars on this side are just covered. These ones here are flared up a tiny bit, but again, it's like it's smoothed over them. It's not clinging to them, not emphasizing them. I used to have a huge amount of scars just under my lip here, and they're gone, like they're covered. It's not clinging to them. It doesn't look any weird around my nose. It looks the same as every foundation does. I actually really do like this, and I'm very impressed. I've got to see how it wears, but so far so good. So I did zoom you guys in. My camera doesn't have autofocus, so I have to stop recording, zoom it in, focus it, etc. So here's my forehead. I hope the camera's like focusing enough because it beeped, which, you know, is a good sign that it has actually focused, but I can't 100% see my camera screen right now because of the glare. Because I have to have a mirror behind my camera, but I hope you guys can really truly see what it looks like. I'm very impressed. I really like it. The check-ins will be done on my phone because I will obviously not be home and I'm not taking my big camera with me to work. But that's what that looks like. I'm going to do a flash test. I'm going to do the rest of my makeup. I'm going to get changed and I'll be right back. So seeing as I have set it, and I set it about 5 minutes ago, it's currently 10:55 a.m. I am starting it a bit later than normal, but that is because I will still be at work. I think I finish at 9:30 tonight and it'll be about 10 before I'm home. So it's going to be on for like 10-11 hours, which is a good wear. So 10:50 is when I finished it, so I'm just going to say it's roughly 11 o'clock that I finished doing my base. So I'm just going to go do everything else, and I'll be right back to show you everything when it's done. I'm back, the rest of my makeup is on, and obviously as you can see, I like it. I actually do really like this foundation. It's really nice. It's looking nice and smooth, everything blended totally fine, never had a problem with it. I mean, my Real Techniques buffing brush, which is what I use for bronzer, didn't even take the foundation off my face, didn't even take the coverage away, which it normally does a little bit. Like, it normally will sometimes just expose like the top bit of my scars, and it hasn't. Absolutely hasn't. I will say, I've had a bit of a problem with my nose. As you guys know, I had surgery 4 years ago, nearly 4 years ago. And I've had a bit of a problem with my nose the past couple of months. And this side kind of had a little bit of a nosebleed. So like, I've wiped my nose. I tried to cover it up again a little bit as I could, but I can see like there's a mark here where it's worn off. So hopefully as like it really warms up to my face, it'll kind of even that out. But if you notice a mark that's like here, that's why. That's what happened there. The rest of my makeup that I am wearing, I will list in the description box down below if you are interested in seeing that. But obviously I didn't do too much today because I am only just going to work. The lip gloss that I am wearing is one of the McoBeauty ones, and I'm not even joking. It's the best thing I've ever used. It smells good, and I can still smell it while it's here. Amazing. Even the makeup went in my eyebrows just fine because I didn't have the foundation just caked in there. It even looks good in between my eyebrows. I'm looking at it like just on the selfie camera part of my phone, and it even looks good on my phone. I'll take a selfie now and I'll insert it on the screen to show you guys. It is without the flash obviously, but it does look nice. I'm not saying that I would use this for flash photography. I'm not saying I would use this for that. But if I was wearing this and decided to film a video, you know, it's not going to look too bad. It looks really nice. Why I could take the flash was portrait mode. I ended up taking like 10 different photos because the iPhone 11 thought, because I have the iPhone 11, it thought that the room was still too bright, so I had to take it portrait mode, which is still fine. It doesn't look like there's much of a white cast. A little bit under my eyes and down here, but that's because under my eyes I use that Maycheer white powder with my Australis banana powder, and then once I did my bronzer I cleaned it up with that same brush. I didn't dip it in any more powder, but I cleaned it up with that same brush. So that is why down here looks like it's got that white cast as well, so I know that's from the powder. Other than that, yeah, it doesn't look like it has much of a flash, but I don't think I would say, oh, wear this to your form or wear this to your wedding or something like that. I think there are foundations that look better in photos than this one. Okay, so terrible lighting in here, and I have to be a little bit quiet because I'm in my work bathroom and there's a male bathroom next door and you can hear through the walls. But no one's in there at the moment, but this is what my face looks like. It's like 10 to 2. I start work at 2. So this is what it looks like. Starting to go a bit oily over my nose and I can feel it like up here. It's like starting to melt a little bit. I might be able to get away with not having my glasses on, we'll see. Obviously you'll see at the end of the night, but it's holding up pretty well for like 4 hours away. Pretty good. Okay, it's the end of the night, and obviously it's still on. It's come off on my nose quite a bit because I was wiping my nose and blowing my nose because I was sneezing all afternoon. As you can see, it's completely come off where my glasses were sitting, but it hasn't rubbed off up here, which is like really good because normally it rubs off up here from me smiling. That happens every time. My nose is getting quite itchy because my oils come through and I just need to take it off, but down here still perfect and everything. I'm really impressed. My forehead's not even really oily, which I'm very, very impressed with. Okay, it's the next day and basically I just wanted to end the video. I will say the foundation was very easy to remove, which is very nice because like the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define foundation that I have does not like to come off my face whatsoever, especially around my nose. Like I might be really oily, but it doesn't want to come off. So I was actually impressed that it does want to come off and it actually will remove fairly easily. I will say once I started to go even the slightest bit oily and the foundation started to melt a bit, I found that bit was not transfer proof whatsoever, but the bits down here that stayed like perfect, it was transfer proof. I really didn't find that I had much rubbing off from down here onto the collars of my shirt. I really didn't find much issue with that at all. So I couldn't film much last night because I was so tired, but my mum, you know, had come home from work and stuff, so I couldn't really finish the video because this house is not overly soundproof. So if my mum heard me talking, she'd come in to see what I was doing. But yeah, other than that, it worked really well. I do have today a couple of pimples around my nose, so I don't know if the foundation has anything to do with that or if that more has to do with me sneezing and blowing my nose. But yeah, so I want to thank you guys for watching. The products I used will be in the description box down below, the makeup that I wore and everything. And other than that, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.